Nice knock, Daniel. Nice little knock. Pity didn't hold yourself in check a bit. If you had, we might have won.
Oh, sorry, Jack, but I've always believed one should play one's natural game, especially at this level. After all, we are only the Ambleside old boys playing one of the Metropolitan Police's worst 11.
I know who we're playing, and I have personal reasons for wanting to beat the hell out of them. I don't care which 11 they field. They're wives, for all I care. Anything to do with the buggers.
It's like you're in, Jack.
What? All right, you sods, you try and get me.
Excuse me, wasn't that Jackaboy?
What? Yes, Jackaboy.
Odd, isn't it, the way one goes on recognising people, even people one hasn't seen for, what, over 25 years? It's not really the looks, is it? Something in the manner, or, I suppose, the nature. That's something in all our nature. You're Davenport. Daniel Davenport, aren't you?
That's right.
Quass. Nathaniel Quass. I was at Ambleside's. We were in the same house.
Really? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't...
You were a prefect, and Jackaboy was head of house. I don't expect he'd remember me either, though he did beat me once or twice, so maybe he'd recognise my rear end. Especially if it was naked and had stripes on it. I don't think you had cause to talk to me more than once.
Really? What did I say?
Well, actually, you said, "Oh dear, well, one does have to conform, or try to, as they say." And you smiled and sort of winked. Your life's going well, I imagine? No little stammers or stutters, embarrassing hiccups or wayward mishaps, eh?
You're not by any chance trying to sell me something, are you?
What? What, against stutters and hiccups and mishaps? Oh, if only I were. I mean, I don't look like the sort of chap who'd have dung delivered to his neighbour's doorstep, do I?
Game's over. I must get back to the pavilion.
Oh dear, there were so many more things that I wanted to... But, look, I say, in case you ever want to, need to make contact.
Thank you.
I've never done anything wrong, you know. I've done my best to conform.
Yes. Well, that's the best any of us can do, really, isn't it?
It was bad enough last season when he was just bad-tempered, rude, and blustering. Actually, some of us were wondering if you'd have a word, Daniel.
You all right, Jack?
It was a full toss. I was out for a bloody full toss. But it was of a short run. Did you notice that? I think the swine was chucking. But with a fellow cop as umpire, what do you expect, eh?
Jack, some of the chaps have asked me to have a word with you.
Could you hurry up with the showers, then? I want to get off. What the hell? What the hell? You know what they've done? The bloody fuss! They've turned it off at the mains. They've had their showers next door. They're on their way to the pub to swill beer into their bellies, so screw the rest of you, eh?
I really don't think that's likely to be...
I meant to be having dinner with Caroline and her parents-in-law. My parents-in-law, I mean, an appalling couple.
Well, can't you have a bath there?
At the Savoy Grill. Oh, the buggers! The buggers! Every time I turn around, I find one of them at my elbow. Warnings for this, warnings for that. My car clamped, towed away. I even got a wigging for looking up a girl's skirt on the tube. Well, that's what they claimed I was doing. I merely happened to glance at her knees. Turned out to be a woman cop. And the man with her, and a brute of a fellow. Lewd and insulting behavior, they called it. And when I said I was a gynecologist, rather a well-established gynecologist, it may interest you to know, she said, well, why don't you keep your eyes to yourself when you're not on the job? I mean, can you believe it? And the next day, the very next morning, I got a summons for... Where are they? Where the hell are they? They were here, I left them here! And my jacket! What I don't understand is why steal my jacket and trousers but leave my bag with my wallet and keys? I mean, do you really think they're going to let me in at the Savoy like this? I mean, this blazer! What is it anyway, and tie?
Well, I suppose it must be their colours. The police, as we found it in their dressing room.
Oh, pretentious sods, and I stink!
Listen, Jack. I'll give you a call during the week, and we might thrash out one or two things about the chap's feelings, eh?
He doesn't bloody turn! I mean, he's mine, all right? These are mine. Oh, enough! I've had enough!
Hey, you! Hey, you stop that! You bloody stop that!
Bugger off, mind your own bloody business.
I saw you kick the door.
I'll kick the bloody door whenever I want. It's my bloody foot and my bloody door!
It may be your bloody foot, but it's my bloody door.
What? Look, you're right, I'm sorry. Mine's over there. Identical, but look, I'm in a rush.
Oh, in a rush, are we?
Yes.
Just look at that door. What? Just look at it. That's malicious damage.
What are you talking about? A slight scratch? A dent, all right, a dent.
I want some details. Name, address.
Look, please, there you are.
What's
Look.
this?
What do you mean, what's this? It's money, that's what it is.
Are you trying to bribe me?
Bribe you? I'm giving you money to pay for the scratch on the door. Don't you understand? I'm in a rush, you imbecile.
Imbecile? I should advise you. You're talking to a police officer.
Oh, a police officer? Oh, well, of course, yes, of course. Well, I mean, that's to be expected, isn't it?
What's that you're wearing?
What?
That blazer.
Well, I mean,
that tie.
Yeah.
Where did you get them?
Well, I found them in the changing room. That's all they had left in
Right.
the big...
You're under arrest.
Do you mind, please? How dare you? Get off me!
Give us a hand.
I nearly... No, please! No! No!
Of course, in my position, I have to be careful about getting involved with the police. Besides, you don't see what I could have done, do you?
Lovely, lovely, Popsy. It's all I want. Does for me.
You haven't heard a word I've said, have you, Bootsy?
Yes, I have. I scored nearly 50.
Remember, Daniel, it's not how we played the game, but whether we won or lost. You've lost.
Hello, Daniel Davenport. Congrats on a terrific little innings. But the umpire's finger's up and you're out. Hit wicket.
Who was it?
There's some fools messing around the answering machine. It's the trouble with those things. People can't resist being childish.
Is that an airline ticket?
It does seem to me, yes.
I do.
Rio de Janeiro.
Rio de Janeiro?
One-way ticket to Rio de Janeiro. Economy class. The flight leaves at midnight. Tonight. Obviously some dolt of a travel agent has...
Well, as long as you're not running out on me.
How could I, Bootsy, when I need you so much? All of you.
You know something? You look so beautiful, Popsy.
My client, Mr. Herman, who, as you know, stands accused of a very serious charge indeed. Mr. Herman, about whom you knew absolutely nothing, rings you up out of the blue, arranges to meet you in a pub in Paddington, and without much ado, offers you a large sum of money, £10,000, if you'll burn down a warehouse in Ilford. That is your account, Mr. Quass?
Yes.
Why, do you think?
He said because he needed the insurance.
No, why you, do you think, Mr. Parks? Why entrust his reputation, his liberty, his whole future to you, whom he'd never even met before?
I don't know. I suppose he made a mistake.
To have entrusted his whole future to you?
He's lying, of course. Ask him about Estepona. Ask Parks how he managed to have a conversation in Paddington with your client when he and his mum were registered in a hotel in Estepona.
What hotel?
And you don't want anything for this?
Of course I do. I want £25,000. Of course, you can't manage that. I just have to be satisfied with seeing justice done, eh? At least for now.
Mr. Davenport? Mr. Davenport, please. Nathaniel Quass. We met at the Ampleside's old boys' cricket match.
Oh, yes, Mr.
Quass.
Quass, yes. Look, I'm terribly sorry. I'm due in court.
Now, Mr. Parks, does the name Estepona mean anything to you?
No, I don't think so.
It's the name of a seaside resort on the Costa del Sol, Mr. Parks.
You mean somebody just came up here, gave you the name of the village, the name of the hotel, and the exact dates?
Yes.
Why?
He says he wanted to see justice done.
Oh, a likely story.
Mr. Davenport. Mr. Davenport.
Luigi, you turned the music on.
Music? Oh, sorry, Signor Davenport. I did not notice it.
It's exactly my point, you see. Some of your clients are irritated by it, and the others don't even notice.
I turn it off immediately, Signor Davenport. But I just must tell you that you are wanted on the telephone. Miss Wright, she says it is urgent.
Miss Wright?
Who's Miss Wright?
I haven't the slightest idea. Hello? Davina? Davina, is that you? Me after all. Well, how could it be? Nobody knows we're here. What's this?
Luigi brought it over. It arrived by taxi. That's the second one this week.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Daniel. Happy birthday to you.
Well, thank you.
But it isn't me.
The cake, it came from the taxi driver with a note. He tells us to surprise you.
Well, what's in the note?
Nothing. I mean, it just says happy birthday. No name, no signature. I think it must be the girls from Chambers. I wish they hadn't.
But it shows how fond of you they are, Popsy.
Hello, Daniel. Dangerous, Daniel. I'm calling on behalf of Mr. Vina Wright. Or should it be Mr. Mina Wright? Happy birthday.
Oh, hello, Caroline. It's Daniel here, Daniel Davenport. I do apologise for phoning so late, but I have to talk to Jack about something rather important. Is he there?
Yes, he's here. But he can't talk now. Could you come over, please? He needs your help.
My help?
Always a good have you on the ring next How dare you? Have you got a one? Come into my house.
Quass.
And somebody phoned for you, not on your study number, on our number.
Who was it?
Pap Good?
Not, Hopjoy, by any chance?
To say that he might get caught in the traffic in the Mile End Road, but don't worry, he was certain to turn up.
Yes, but it's not that important. Certainly not worth ringing late and on the house number.
What are you doing? You're shaving.
Good heavens. My mind must have been so full of Jack, poor old devil. I must have thought I was getting up instead of... Yes?
Happy birthday, Daniel. But we mustn't forget absent friends, must we? Like Davina and Geoffrey Hopjoy.
Wrong house. I thought it was 41. Of course, it's 43, isn't it?
Yes, 43. That's where I live. 43.
I tried to call you on the phone, but the number was disconnected.
Yes, I had it disconnected.
Very wise, given the kind of people who phone one up these days. Has someone been phoning you up?
Oh, no, nobody at all. That's why I had it taken away. So silly waiting for it to ring when nobody was going to ring me.
I see, but they did make it rather difficult for me to return your calls, you see.
Calls? What calls? I haven't made any calls since they took it away. How could I?
You didn't phone the restaurant last night? Or leave a message on my answer phone? Or have somebody else phone my wife?
Your wife?
Yes.
What's her name?
Sophie.
Is she a good wife to you?
Yes.
Yes, she would be. You'd find yourself a good wife, Daniel. And children? Have you got any children?
No.
I expect you will in due course, though, won't you? You'll be a good father, Daniel. And your wife, Sophie, will be a good mother.
Thank you. But you haven't phoned her or me.
Why should I?
Well, I thought perhaps you wanted to get in touch.
Our arrangement was that we shouldn't see each other or speak to each other. You shouldn't be here now, Daniel. You shouldn't.
I know, but it's an emergency. Look, has anybody come around asking you questions about Geoffrey? I'm sorry, but I have to know. It's important.
Nobody's been around asking questions about anything.
But you've never told anybody?
You know who I've told, Daniel. Who I have to tell. I tell him all the time.
But nobody else?
Nobody else. Nobody. Ever. How could I? There's nobody else to tell.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Bartholomew School to watch the children arrive. I do that every morning in term time. And then afterwards I shall go to St. Ignatius and sweep the aisles and polish... Yes, this morning I shall polish the candlesticks. And then I shall go to St. Mary's, where Father Thomas will find me something to do, I'm sure.
Look, Davina, you can't spend the rest of your life in a state of continual repentance.
I must try.
But it wasn't your fault. You had nothing to do with it.
He was my husband, married in church, a holy service.
Yes, but it wasn't your fault.
Because that's why you've come back, to tempt me. You devil! You devil! Go away, devil! Go away! Go away, devil! Stop following me! Go away!
Oh, Mr. Davenport! Mr. Davenport!
Yes, Zelda?
Mr. Strauss is here with Mr. Cookson.
Well, tell him to wait, will you? I've got to make a...
Good morning, Daniel. This is Mr. Cookson. Mr. Cookson, this is Daniel Davenport, who's going to be your counsel.
Please, sit down. Will you excuse me for a moment? I have to... I'll be right back. I'd like to speak to Nathaniel Quass, please.
Who is it, please?
Davenport. Daniel Davenport?
Oh, they've started on you then, have they?
Can we meet tonight? The Garrick Club? 8 o'clock?
Is it safe?
Of course it is. Come, Mr. Henshaw. I can assure you the matter's really not that serious, you know. Even if the worst comes to the worst, you're still only technically a bigamist.
Have a quick word, Daniel.
Hmm?
That's Cookson.
You've got the wrong brief. Henshaw's coming in this afternoon. I've got the Cookson brief here.
Cookson's charged with demanding money with menaces, particularly from old ladies living alone. They haven't got anything, really, apart from some shaky identification and a confession. But without the confession, the whole thing would collapse. He claims it was beaten out of him.
He was interrogated for 15 hours without a break, pushed around and slapped. One of them, Cooper, pulled his hair, and the other, Sourboy, squeezed his testicles.
Unfortunately, the doctor's report isn't what we would like. It's not all that helpful. They were careful not to bruise him.
But there were some scratches around the scrotum.
Yes, but not incompatible with rough sex, apparently. He was on his way back from his girlfriend's.
Yes, thank you. Yes. I think I'd like to hear the rest of it from Mr. Dawson himself, if you don't mind.
Cookson. The name is Cookson.
Ah, Mr. Cookson. Sorry about that earlier confusion. Well, look, we really can't afford to let our emotions get in the way of our thinking, can we? Oh, do please try.
No, it's the pollen. He has an allergy. That's why we came out.
I'm expecting a guest in about half an hour or so, Mr. Quass.
He's already here, sir. He's waiting in the morning room.
Ah, thank you.
Is this what you're looking for?
Oh, yes, thank you. Very kind, very kind. Thank you, sir. Not at all. Oh, I arrived a bit early. It's all right.
Oh, and what were you...
My inhaler. I thought I was going to have an attack, you see. And I dropped it.
But you're all right now, eh?
It's if I can just sit down. May I?
Yes, fine, yes.
Right. You know what they did today? Sent a whole roast pig to Rabbi Goldman for his nephew's bar mitzvah and said it came from me. That's the sort of thing they've started doing to you.
Along those lines, yes. Did they send you a list?
Did you bring it with you?
Can I see yours, do you think?
They're almost identical. A few lines and crosses on yours. The same names in boxes.
And on both, we're bracketed. As if whatever they're going to do, they're going to do to us together.
There's no message on yours?
No.
Mine's longer. You've cut your message off. You may have to tell me.
Oh, if I have to, I have to. As long as you tell me what yours means.
Well, the first thing to find out is who these other names are, what connects us.
You mean you haven't realised?
Well, the only name I recognise is Jacoboy's and now yours.
Oh, of course, of course. We'd be too insignificant for you, wouldn't we? We were all at Ampleside's, in the same house. I mean, I understood that immediately. That was all part of it for me, the nightmare. Their names are Jacoboys. I suppose we'll have to talk to him, won't we?
Who?
Jacoboots. I mean, Jacoboy. Jacoboots is what we used to call him.
Well, we can't talk to him, not at the moment.
Why not?
Because he's gone mad. He's going to be out of circulation for quite a time, I suspect. In jail or...
Oh, my God.
Well, have you talked to the others?
I tried, all except for Jack. I hadn't got the nerve to phone him. But all the rest, I only got the mothers and wives. Children, in one case. Wardles, I think. And for some reason, they were all hostile. I'm not very good on the telephones. Tell me, why do you think it's crosses for Schulman and me and lines and boxes for all the rest of you? I've got a feeling crosses are worse. Unless boxes are tombs. Sorry, Davenport, sorry. What's going on, do you think?
Someone's trying to mess up my life, that's what's going on.
Well, what do we plan to do about it?
We'll find out who they are and stop them.
Mr. Davenport?
Yes?
Is your guest Mr. Quass?
Yes.
He's wanted on the phone, sir. I'll show you where it is, sir.
I didn't tell anybody I was here, did you?
No.
We're being followed. They're all right. I knew the voice, the gruff one.
What did he say?
She was one of the she's.
But what did she say? Come on, Quass.
That we're expected at Luigi's, and that you'd know the way.
Luigi's?
Who's Luigi?
Ah, Signor Davenport! Buonasera.
Evening, Luigi. I gather you're expecting me.
Well, you did book, Signor Davenport.
Right. Good.
And how many are you expecting altogether?
Don't know, really, Luigi. There's a chance. Somebody else might turn up. If they do, you know where I am. Bring them over, eh?
Might? Somebody might turn up?
Yes. If they do, bring them over.
But you are not sure?
No, but if they do, bring them over. There seems to be plenty of room.
See what you mean about quiet.
Luigi! Luigi, the music! Luigi! Luigi! To cover the noise! Pistol shots and screams! It's a trap, I tell you, Davenport! Luigi!
Signor Davenport!
The music, Luigi, you know how I feel.
If I want music in my restaurant, I have music in my restaurant. You don't like it, you go eat somewhere else, eh? Who do you think you are? you reserve my whole restaurant for the whole evening from 7 o'clock. I turn people away, old customers. I cancel reservation. Then you come in at nearly 9 o'clock and you say, Luigi, just the two of us. Somebody might turn up. Then you sit down and you tell me, Luigi, off with the music. Well, out, get out of my restaurant. Alberto, Roberto, show the gentleman this.
My wife and I have been going there since it opened. We were virtually its first customers. So whatever he was told, however he was tricked, there was no justification, absolutely no justification for that tone.
I know. As if he'd always disliked you. Where should we go then? Should we go to your place?
No, of course not. I told my wife I was going out with an important client. How could I possibly explain you?
Well, it had better be my place then, hadn't it? Nellie, this is Davenport. Davenport, this is my sister Nellie.
Davenport?
How do you do?
This is Davenport. Oh, come in, please.
He's talked about you so often, you know, especially recently, how he's longed to get hold of you again. Come this way. So how was the Mozart? Did you bump into each other at the Mozart?
Yes, that's right, the interval.
Come. Sit. Now, what would you like to drink, Davenport?
Well, what have you got?
Every cordial under the sun, made by myself.
Nellie, offer a proper drink, please. There's more whiskey, gin, vodka.
Where?
In the cupboard in my study.
Since when?
I got it in last week, in case we have visitors.
Well, none for you. Cordial for you.
What'll it be then, Davenport?
Well, actually, I'd like a cordial too, please.
What? Not Glenfiddich? Martini. I could make you a martini.
The strawberry, raspberry, apricot.
Raspberry, please.
Good choice. And for you too, Nathaniel. So you're the famous Davenport, then. Such terrible pranks the two of you got up to. My favourite is the time when the two of you climbed through the housemaster's window and ice Davenport.
Yes, please.
Put glue on his seat. So there he's stuck. Here. Oh, wait, a straw. It's best with a straw.
Oh, thank you.
And Nathaniel, writing all those poems, rhyming ones to the senior boys. We were so happy under your wing. He still talks about you in his sleep, you know, Davenport. Only the other night I heard him shout out.
Nellie, I think Davenport must be a mite peckish.
Oh, good. What would you like?
Well, if you had some scrambled eggs, for instance.
With smoked salmon?
Thank you.
For you too, Nathaniel. Only no salt. And of course, no smoked salmon.
Well, you were much in my mind.
Ooh, a lot of messages for you, Nathaniel. Mr. Rosenblum from the Synagogue Commission, very angry, he didn't say why. And some people in Lewisham who thank you for the 100 goats' cheeses. What are they for and can they send them back? And Rabbi Harwood, and the wife of the Yiddish playwright who you sent those turkeys to for his first night.
Nellie, Davenport's hungry.
Oh, yes, poor Davenport.
Rabbi Harwood? God, he's a monster. What am I going to do? What am I going to do?
Those phone numbers you said you'd got, of the others on the list. What do you do?
I've retired.
Retired? At what age?
Well, when I left school. Most of this is from my father. He left me certain responsibilities, you see.
Oh, hello. Can I speak to Mr. Billington, please?
No, you can't.
Oh, is that Mrs. Billington?
Yes?
Well, I'm an old school friend of your husband's, and I was just wondering...
He's not here.
Oh, well, have you any idea when he'll be back?
I've no idea.
I see. Thank you very much. I don't know.
Well, at least she was civil with you. When I phoned...
Oh, hello. Is that Mr. Coveney?
No, it's his son.
Oh, I'm sorry. Your voice sounded just like your father's. I'm an old school friend of your father's, and I wondered if he was in.
He's gone away.
Oh, I see. Do you have his number, by any chance?
No, goodbye.
Right, thank you. You left home, apparently. No number.
They refused to speak to me.
Number disconnected.
Who?
Whartle.
Oh, connected last week. Abusive, but connected. Who are you dialing now?
Schulman.
She was the worst.
Oh, hello. Can I speak to Mr. Schulman, please?
Oh, God.
Was that Mrs. Schulman?
Yes.
I've only got a few days in London and en route from Dubai to New York. And I suddenly had this urge to get in touch with all my old school friends. And obviously old Shully was top of the list. The times we had together at Amplesides. The Terror Twins, they used to call us. Dangerous Davenport and Suicide Schulman. Mrs. Schulman?
Scrambled eggs and smoked salmon on the table, boys. What a joy it is to have a real forksman in the house at last. Now, have you finished, Daniel? What more would you like? Plum pie?
Well, thank you.
With a scoop of ice cream.
That was delicious. Thank you.
Chocolate. Don't be put off by its shape. It's homemade. And now Nathaniel will give you your spiritual pudding, won't you, Nathaniel?
Oh, no. Nellie, really...
Feed the stomach, then the soul. Would you send him on his way with an empty soul, Nathaniel?
Nellie, I'm not sure I can.
I think you must try, Nathaniel. I think you must try.
Sorry, Davenport.
No, I'm sorry, my love. Sorry I made you. I'm sure it would be all right. It would have been a great concert play, you know. A great one. But it always happens in front of an audience. I hoped with such an old friend it would leave him alone for once. For me, every night he plays like an angel.
Well, yes, and tonight you certainly played. Look, I really ought to be going.
Davenport, what are we going to do?
Something very obvious, of course. Get a private detective and ask him to check on the names, find out where they are and what's happened to them. It shouldn't take a good one long.
When can you do it?
You'll have to do it. I'm in court tomorrow.
A private detective? How do I know a private detective?
Nathaniel, you still out there? Mrs. Mossberg is on the phone to thank you for your present. She sounds very angry.
God, what did I send her?
There's one called Jackson, Frank Jackson. He does a lot of work for solicitors. They say he's very efficient. All right? But of course he knows my name, so you mustn't mention me.
But how will I find him?
He'll be in the phone book. Now, the moment you find out anything at all, let me know.
Nathaniel, come now for Mrs. Mossberg. Also for your chest. Daniel, send him in straight away.
Just coming, Nellie, coming.
This is the number of my chambers. They'll know which court I'm in.
I count to 10, then I'll come out and get you.
Have you got them? The moment you find out anything, get in touch. Right.
Good night, Daniel.
All right.
Yes, just rather a bad night, thank you. Why?
Well, I was just wondering whether it was a ploy or you really did get his name wrong. Who's? Detective Sergeant Coopers.
You kept calling him Detective Inspector Copper.
Made a slip of the tongue.
And Cropper? You also called him Cropper. I think we should talk to Cookson. He's looking a bit concerned.
Mr. Davenport, the telephone.
I'll be right back. Hello, Davenport here.
It's awful, Davenport. Awful.
Well, go on, what is it?
I can't on the phone. It's a call box, and I've only got one 10p, and there's somebody else waiting.
Well, where are you, then?
A pub, the Rising Sun, Euston Road.
Euston Road? Look, something's come up. But don't worry, I'll be there in time to cook Cookson's goose.
Mr. Cookson is our client.
What the hell are you doing?
Smoke nearly killed me. The news is terrible, Davenport, terrible.
Yes, you've already said that. Get on with it. I mean, I've got a few minutes.
Well, go on. Go on. Billington, Cropper, Coveney, Wardle are all in jail. Just like Jacoboot.
Jail?
And that's how your Mr. Jackson found out so quickly. He phoned the school for their initials, then he phoned a friend of his on a newspaper just on an off chance, and they all came up on the computer one after another.
But what did they do?
Billington tried to smuggle drugs into Turkey. Crop was doing 5 years for misappropriation. He was a solicitor. Coveney and Wardle are doing 5 years and 3 years, respectively. Wardle was party to a swindle connected with a children's charity. Coveney was a hit-and-run case. He wiped out a couple of pensioners and a social worker. Look, I've worked it out. The lines and the blocks. That's what the blocks mean. Jail. And 3 lines for Jacoboy on his way to jail. 1 line for you on your way to jail. Shulman. The crosses for Shulman and me are for death. Shulman flung himself under a train at Archway Tube Station. So now we know why Mrs. Shulman sobbed when she hung up on you. Suicide Shulman committed suicide. So they either drove him mad...
Like Jacoboot's?
Or they pushed him under the train. And that's what they've got in mind for me. Crush, 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 crush.
Look, I've got to get back. Are you all right?
Can you manage? There's... You go.
Look, come on. I'll get you into a taxi.
It's very kind of you, Davenport.
Drunk? Can you stand up properly, man? And put your right.
Well, what are we going to do?
I'll call round this evening.
Beg the court's pardon, and sorry I'm late, Your Honour. There was, if I can proceed straight away with the witness. Now, Detective Inspector Cooper.
Detective Sergeant Cooper has left the stand. This is Detective Sergeant Sourboy.
Indeed, Your Honour. I'm sorry, Your Honour, a touch of... I'll get some water.
I thought you had him backing away at the end, didn't you?
Yes, perhaps you thought the cough was contagious.
Look, I don't think I should speak any more this evening.
You mean not to Cookson?
Cookson?
Our client.
No, not to anyone.
But he has to hear your view.
Look, Strauss, if a champ's losing his voice, he's losing his voice. Surely he can understand that. Just tell him I can't speak anymore, for God's sake. My voice is gone, damn it!
Hello, 274112.
How are we all?
I've got a backache and cramps.
Cramps? Well, the thing is, my love, it'll lie on your back and lift...
Do you think it started?
No, it can't have. Not for another 3 weeks at least, eh?
Come home soon.
But the thing is, you remember that Greek I met last night?
I thought he was Turkish.
Well, yes, but resident in Greece, if you remember. Well, Greek or Turk, whatever he is, Greek resident in Turkey or Turkey resident in Greek.
Do you love me? Do you really?
Of course I love you, Bootsy. Look, I'll be back, I promise, soon. I'm sending you a special kiss down the phone, right?
I can't tell anything from these. Just the usual journalist's nonsense. Remained unmoved, broke down and wept, etc.
5 boys out of one house from the same school. All jailed over the last 6 months for different offences. And Schulman's suicide.
Yes.
That Miss Wright in your message, is that something you could go to jail for?
The bit missing from your message. Is that something you might commit suicide because of?
I tell, you tell. That was the agreement.
What did your message say, Nathaniel?
It said, poor old Emmanuel bowled out by Nathaniel.
Who's Emmanuel?
My brother, my older brother, 11 years older.
What did it mean, bowled out by Nathaniel?
I bowled him out. Of the window. Killed him.
Why?
He was trying to teach me the rules of cricket.
That's why you killed him?
Yes. No. I mean, he was different from Nellie and me. Made himself into a perfect English type. Tall, slim, muscular, head of hair. Of course, he was accepted by the best public school. No mere Amplesides for him. One afternoon, I was in here, scraping away at the violin. In he came with a cricket bat.
Now, he said, let me show you. I said, come on, Emmanuel, I'm practicing violin, not cricket. He snatched my bow away from me. And I tried to snatch it back, and it went into his eye. And suddenly he was running backwards, jumping and skipping backwards, yowling, swinging his cricket bat out of the window, onto the terrace, onto his head. It was an accident, Davenport.
Have you ever told anyone?
I had a collapse. Nellie had to put me in hospital. So what about you, Davenport? No death in it, I hope.
Yes. Death in it.
But you haven't killed anyone?
As a matter of fact, yes.
Miss Wright?
Her husband.
You killed Miss Wright's husband?
She wasn't Miss Wright then. She was Mrs. Hopjoy. Before that, she was Miss Wright. And later, after I'd killed her husband, she went back to being Miss Wright again. He was a university lecturer. He taught social sciences. No, social studies. One of those useless subjects. He was unbalanced, you see. Definitely unbalanced. When he somehow got wind of the fact that she and I were... He became very possessive, very jealous.
Isn't that, normal? With husbands when their wives...
He wasn't her husband. Not when I came on the scene, except in name. He'd left her a couple of years before, for one of his students. Several of his students, as a matter of fact. But he still felt he had some sort of claim on Davina. He used to follow her, and me. He actually employed private detectives. Anyway, he gave me no choice.
How did you do it?
I ran over him.
You ran him over?
No, I didn't run him over. I ran over him. Quite different.
Yes? In what respect?
One night, I roared up to her flat in my car, and I felt this bump, sort of soft bump. So I looked under the wheels. There he was. He must have just laid himself out on the street and waited for me to go over him. It was suicide, really, but at my expense.
What did you do?
Put the body in the car and drove it to the Mile End Road. Laid it outside his college. Queen Mary College. A lot of traffic there, you see. Apparently, a lot of it went over him before anyone noticed. So he was quite hard to identify.
How long ago did this happen?
9 years ago. 10 years ago. June the 6th, 1979.
But even if you were followed, they wouldn't wait 10 years, would they?
No, they wouldn't. That's why it must be someone who's found out now. Look, let's look at this whole thing logically. There must be a motive. What are the usual motives for destroying people? Money? They haven't asked for any. Revenge?
Why death for me and Shulman, and only jail for you and Jackaboots, and the rest? You know why. I'll tell you why. It's because Shulman and I are Jewish, that's why. It's discrimination. How do you know?
Because I'm Jewish. Unless they already know everything else about me, they'll know that as well, won't they?
You're Jewish? But I used to see you every morning going to chapel to sing hymns. Why, you were even confirmed, weren't you?
Yes. It didn't mean anything. For some reason, everybody always assumed I was C of E. There didn't seem any point in explaining. I just did what the others did.
Well, one does have to conform. Or try to, as they say.
What?
And, are you still C of E?
No, of course not.
Jewish again, then?
I regard myself first and foremost as a barrister.
Well, you may shortly be regarding yourself as a jailbird.
Here you are. One each. Delivered by hand. Isn't that nice?
Where'd you get them from?
From the mat, of course. I saw them lying on it when I was coming to give Daniel a refill. I knew he'd be ready for one. This time, toffee, Daniel. Give your jaws something to work on. Well, aren't you going to open them? Who are they from?
From chaps at the old school. Davenport and I were trying to involve in a little charity project. I'll tell you later, Nellie.
Oh, so long as it's not goats, cheeses and frozen turkeys to people who don't want them, eh, Daniel?
What's yours?
It's a signed statement from Mavis and Donald Carper, private investigators working on behalf of Geoffrey Hopjoy. Assigned to watch his wife Davina Hopjoy's residence. Witness the death of our client Geoffrey Hopjoy at 1 a.m. June the 6th, 1979. You say I did it on purpose. Swerved onto the pavement, hit him, and proceeded to reverse over the body several times. Then followed the car to the forecourt of Queen Mary College, University of London. We have photographs which will be sent together with a copy of this statement to the police, the Bar Association, every national newspaper, and Mrs. Davina Hopjoy nay write, unless you comply with our instructions, which are en route. And yours?
Signed statements from people in one of the homes I stayed in, that I said that Nellie killed Emmanuel. How could I? The copies will be sent to Miss Nellie Quass, every rabbi in London, and the chief rabbi of Leeds. Why Leeds? And the police, of course, unless I comply with the instructions which are en route. Instructions for what? Instructions for me to commit suicide? Instructions for you to get yourself put in prison? What do they want, Davenport? What's going on? What's she doing? Why is he still there?
Two more! One for each of you! Oh, look at you. Such friends you've become all over again. After these years, so many years you don't see each other. What I want is you bring your wife and twins around, Daniel. All of us together.
Money! It's only money they want! And so little! Who'd have believed it?
How much?
20,000, that's all. What's yours?
25,000. £25,000. The monies will be in denominations of £5 notes. We will take delivery at the gate of platform 13, Waterloo Station at 1 p.m. tomorrow. You will carry for both parties. There will be a telephone call immediately after receipt of this communication, giving further details.
You will accompany the carrier to Waterloo Station and then wait at the gate to platform 12 until the transaction is completed. Once you have begun the journey to Waterloo Station, you will not make any contact with the monies. You will also control your wheezing. And so avoid making a public spectacle of yourself. There will be a telephone call immediately on receipt of this communication giving further details, which your accomplice must answer. Answer it, Davenport. Answer it.
Oh?
A man in a green cap will be waiting at the platform. You will identify yourself by saying, I'm carrying the agreed sum.
Sorry, my friend's mouth is full of toffee.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Who?
A man in a green cap will be waiting at the platform.
Yes.
You will identify yourself
Yes, I've got all that.
by saying,
But listen,
I'm
how...
carrying the agreed sum.
Yes, you've already said that. A man in a green cap. But...
Thank you. Goodbye.
Yes, I've got
A man
it.
in a green cap will be
He
waiting
keeps repeating the same thing.
identify yourself by saying, I'm carrying the agreed sum.
It's a recording.
Here it is. You then give the money to him and say, thank you, goodbye. A man in a green
Yes.
cap will be waiting at the platform. You will
Well, what did he say? That a man in a green cap will be waiting at the gate to the platform. I'm to identify myself by saying, I'm carrying the agreed sum, here it is. Then give it to him, and then say, thank you, goodbye.
So, just common criminals after all. We ought to go... We have a duty to go to the police.
Police? The police? They get hold of this. They're right. If anything happened to Nellie, I'd kill myself.
But they're just common blackmailers. And everybody knows. Blackmailers don't stop after the first payment. In fact, it only encourages them. I defended a chap once. An absolute swine. He blackmailed illegal immigrants. He charged them weekly. That's the way they operate.
What happened to him?
Oh, I got him off.
And the illegal immigrants? What happened to them?
They were sent back to a country recognized by Her Majesty's government. Oh, for God's sake, Quass, what does it matter what happened to them? What matters is... What matters is... I haven't got £25,000. Not available in cash, anyway.
You could raise it, surely.
Not easily. I've got commitments, mortgage, heavy insurance, and of course the car.
Oh, brother! Bloody car!
Bootsy warned me. Everything seemed to be going so well. I was getting more and more cases, starting to establish a real reputation at last. Of course, if they gave me more time, 3 weeks, a month, I'd better go home. I've got to be in court tomorrow. Possibly for the last time, eh? At least the last time in a professional capacity. The next time, I suppose I'll be in the dock. And now, I must go home to my wife. Good luck for tomorrow. I'd be very pleased for you if it's the end of it. My best to Nellie.
Wait! Wait a minute, Davenport. You're giving up? Just because you haven't got the money?
Well, what else can I do if I haven't got the money? By tomorrow, remember, 1 p.m.
You could ask me.
But I might not be able to repay it for years.
Repay when you can. If you can't, don't.
That's really very good of you, Quass.
No, it's not. It's easy. Easy isn't good. Simply easy.
That sounded extremely like Nellie.
And I must have been at my best. Money I can afford, and more of this So no more about money, except what we have to do tomorrow. I'll go to the bank and get £45,000 in cash, and then I'll meet you. Where do we meet?
I have to be in court until 12:30 tomorrow. The Old Bailey, court number 5. We should be able to make it from there to Waterloo.
Yeah, I'll come in a hired car, then we can go straight...
No, tube. Always safer by tube. Think about traffic at lunchtime. And don't forget to take a bag, a big one.
2 bags? I'll take 2 bags. £45,000 in fivers.
Is that you two gossiping away out there?
Just saying good night, Nellie.
What about a good night to me? Shame to you, Daniel.
Sorry, Nellie. Good night.
Good night, Daniel.
Tomorrow, then.
Tomorrow, then. And thank you, Nathaniel.
From London's Camden High Street, Jonathan Lancy reports. Like a supermarket, there's not much scope for adventure on the inside, but the signs of retail dictate.
Bootsy? Bootsy? Bootsy?
Bootsy? Bootsy? Bootsy!
Oh, Popsy, I didn't know where to get hold of you. You didn't even leave a number. I've tried everywhere. And now they're coming to get me and you won't even be there to help. Oh, do please hurry.
Mrs. Davenport, please. I'm her husband.
Oh, yes. You're the father of an 8-pound, 6-ounce girl.
Only one? There's meant to be two. Twins.
Well, only one's been delivered. So far, anyway.
That's not mine.
How do you know?
Because that's not my wife.
Dandydop. D6.
Davenport. Davenport.
Oh, Popsy, Popsy, where have you been?
The important thing is that I'm here in time. Oh, Bootsy.
They're on their way, Mr. Davenport. They'll be here any minute.
Who?
Your wife's in tip-top form. Well, considering she's been at it for 14 hours or so.
14 hours? Oh, my God, I've got to go.
But your babies will be here.
No, I've got to be somewhere important by 12:30. It's a matter of life and...
Where the hell have you been? Zelda is making a dreadful hash of this cross-examination.
It's Sophie. She's had the babies. I've got to get back to the hospital. Come on, man. Come on.
Fiend!
We've got to get back to the hospital.
Hospital? Waterloo! We're going to Waterloo! What's the matter?
You're gonna do that, bastard, when I get out.
What are you going to call them? 7 minutes to. We should have gone by taxi. Never trust London transport. Never.
What a pity you missed the berth, eh?
Give me the bags.
What?
I'm meant to be carrying them, remember?
Oh, God, yes.
Oh, no, not now. Please, not now.
Just a second. Listen, I'm not to wheeze.
There's something you're meant to say to me. Shall I take these, Mr. Davenport?
Don't touch them. If you don't stop molesting me, I shall call a policeman. Come on, come on, we've got to get out of here. It's a trap. There are people all around. Keep walking! The man in the green cap. The other day, he gave me some information about the other one and asked for £25,000. I thought it was a joke. I suppose the others were police. And the woman with the camera, a reporter, I suppose. If I had handed over the money... My God. A barrister bribing a witness. That's the sort of thing solicitors do. The sheer cold planning that's gone into it. Just to get me into jail. I wonder what they planned for you. Push you under a train? I saw that man. The one who knocked you over. He was up to something.
This one's got a cap. That man at Waterloo trod on it. I saw. It's not the same one. He must have substituted them.
Look at him. Look at him. I warned him. Why didn't he use his spray? Why?
There was something wrong with it.
With both of them? Impossible.
Both of them?
I always put two in his pocket in case. Two fresh ones. Every morning. Get him in here. Hier, mein Liebchen. Hier, mein Liebchen. Nelly ist mit dir. Nelly ist mit dir. Come on, hurry up there. Oh. Here, rub this in with your hand.
Where?
Everywhere. Soothe him, touch him, it's what he needs. Give him your love through your fingers, Davenport, everywhere. This also he needs. Now, I'll do the rest. Thank you, Danny. You may go. Wait outside. Say your goodbyes and help me prepare him.
So what about you, Davenport? No death in it, I hope.
Yes, death in it.
But you haven't killed anyone.
As a matter of fact, yes. You've been following me, watching me, all these years.
Yes, that's right, Daniel.
All this? Just to ruin my life?
Is your life ruined? I don't see ruin, Daniel. I see unshaven, bewildered. I smell. Well, not surprising, no change of clothes for 2 days, but ruin? Do you think Nathaniel would ruin anything, anyone?
He ruined all the others. Got them sent to jail. Had one of them killed.
Just cases we found in the papers. The right age to have been with you at Ambleside is all. What, run over old age pensioners and a social worker? The idea.
The Jacoboots, boy, I saw with my own eyes what you did to him.
Oh, we didn't do much. Little things. Stole his trousers, imitated the police now and then. The rest he did to himself. We never meant for him to go mad with knives and such. Just a little breakdown, we hoped.
Why, Nellie? Why?
One afternoon, he's in the house music room, pouring himself out through his violin, when the door bursts open and in come some boys, well-fed English chaps with beaming faces, and they drag him off to the locker room and stuff him into a locker and lock it.
Not me, Nellie. Not me. I could never do such a thing. Not even at Amblesides.
Then you and Jacoboots come in and hear him crying. And Jacoboots unlocks the locker and laughs. And you, Daniel, the older brother he never had, look down and smile. And then you wink. A lovely look and smile and wink. Perfect Church of English. And you say,
Oh dear. Well, one does have to conform.
And then Jacoboots shuts him back in the locker.
But that was 25 years ago, Nellie. 25 years?
25 years of heart trouble. Asthma, steroids, hair falling out. 25 years of never to be a musician, never to play in public. That's a ruined life, Daniel.
So I see it was revenge, after all.
Revenge? Oh, that must have been the way I told it. Don't think revenge, Daniel. Think instead Nathaniel. Think love, hope, fun and games, with a touch of revenge mixed in, like pepper, to add salt. There. Now you have it. So come and say your goodbyes to Nathaniel. He's ready for you.
Thank you.